Hey guys, welcome to Mythborn Live, episode 32, Dreams Continued. So housekeeping wise, I don't have a bunch of things we got to talk about. No big events showing up, so I will keep you guys informed. What I wanted to do was answer some questions I got online about my dreams episode from before. As a recap, I have these places in my dreams that are very real to me, and they're very consistent. Uh, there are two apartments, there's a home, there's a tunnel system, and there's a house that leads to a lake. And these five places are they are absolutely 100% real. And if you want to know more, go to my earlier video. You'll see the first part of this episode where I talk about the fact that these things aren't normal. They're not normal dreams. And why I say they're not normal dreams is because I don't actually have anything that happens in the dream that is weird or out of the ordinary. In fact, if anything, these feel like other lives. So when I get into one of those homes, when I'm in that reality, I find myself suddenly taking on the entire agenda of that person who lives there. I believe in what they're trying to do. In fact, I'm trying to do it. It's me. It's me in this reality, and this is my home, or this is my waypoint, or my whatever that place is. And everything that happens within that space is internally consistent with both time and with my actions. As an example, if I go into one of these places and it's a day ago, then everything I did, I'm sorry, not what I mean is if I dreamt about one place a day ago and then I go into it again, a day has passed and exactly what we'd expect, let's say in an apartment in a day, has passed. If it's a year since I've been to that particular dream, then the apartment is very different. It's actually moved forward a year as if someone has lived there for a year. And what a lot of the questions I got were around the fact that I said consistent with my actions, but what I didn't explain was that in these dreams, the place is actually consistent with time passing and someone else doing something in the space. So I talked about rotten food. In this one apartment, I can expect the food to be rotten because no one lives there. It's a storage place. So if I put food in there when I'm there, it will be rotten the next time, usually because no one is visiting it very often. But if I, I don't have that problem when I go to the ginormous house or the lake thing or the other place. Those places, the world is constantly changing. When I show up, new things are there. But things that I can do, like if I scratch something on the wall out of view so it won't get fixed, then I notice that that's still there. So it's almost like when I show up in my dream, or temporarily for that dream, I am that person. I'm walking through the agenda of their life, dealing with the things they're dealing with. It's never crazy emergent stuff. It's never like, oh, we gotta go, save the president. Nothing like that. It's typically very mundane. Like I just am working on certain things. What's disconcerting about these dreams is I go into them as me, and while I'm in there, I'm him. And know it's him because him is me. Like it's me in that dream. And my agenda there is absolutely consistent with a normal life in a normal track with normal things. And it's not always the same track. In some cases, I'm in a college type, hovel, I should call it. In other cases, I'm in a beautiful mansion. In other cases, I'm, vacationing. But none of these things are inconsistent within themselves. And every time I show up, the normal things that I would expect to have happened have happened. And because I show up and quickly my mind becomes the mind of the person that actually occupies that space, everything seems normal. It's all happening according to plan, according to what they, are doing. And that's the weirdest part. I just don't, I almost feel like I'm eavesdropping in other people's lives. So, maybe it is a quantum reality. Maybe there is the ability, we have this ability to see a little bit outside of ourselves. Maybe deja vu is this. It's a waking example of what I'm experiencing when I'm asleep. And that is when you're awake, all of a sudden, two realities fold over and you sense another person remembering something you're about to do or they've done, that you remember what they did, not necessarily what you're about to do, but so similar and so close that it's deja vu. There is examples of this. There was this couple, these two women who were in a garden and in England, and they ended up seeing women dressed in a Victorian style, get up, and they recall it being very real. It turned out those women were potentially just, locked in time. The women who saw them were many centuries ahead of what they saw. And so it's almost like the women walked into this garden, they got transported somehow or transposed maybe temporarily into this other time period. They saw other people in that garden who weren't their people. They were dressed differently. And then they all of a sudden came back to this time, and that became a time slip. You also see evidence of this in a flyer. You can look this up. A Navy flyer, a very reputable captain who is flying back towards England, and he looked down and saw an airport with all these different colored planes and personnel, where there should have been just a field. And when he reported it, he ended up being very high ranking too. But when he reported it, it turned out that this field, according to British intelligence, never existed. But some years later, that exact field showed up with the exact same colored uniforms, the exact same colored plane, wings, everything that was different than the current British markings. It was, I think that the way he said it was the new markings had yellow in them versus the one that they had, which didn't. So I don't know how to explain when you're sleeping and you see a place and that place feels like home, and you're now all of a sudden another person and you're in that home, and you're and what you've seen and what you've done is internally 100% consistent. I think any scientist would probably say, hey, you don't know how dreams work. Those memories are real memories in your mind, and sure, they could show up again a year later, and sure, they could be internally consistent to the last time you were there, because you're just accessing a memory that has been sitting in your brain. Maybe not, right? I mean, what's odd to me is, unlike other dreams, I wake up and I am that person for a while. Like for 5 minutes, I'm in the wrong place. I don't recognize this place. I don't get it. Like I actually literally feel like I am not in the right place. Now, I certainly don't think I'm crazy. No one does. But if anyone has had a situation like this, man, I would love to hear about it, because it's not the normal thing that one would expect. And I also think at some level, it just opens up how amazing our minds are, like how creative we can be, how much power our minds have. It opens a door to the idea. Think about this. If what I'm saying is true, and I'm not saying it is, but if what I'm saying is true, it opens the door to the idea that there are potentially an infinite number of you in multiple realities that are all doing their thing. They're doing their thing, but some of them are doing better, some are doing worse. But the point is that they're all you. And maybe when we cease to exist in this particular realm, quantum realm, i.e., when we die, maybe equal amount of other of us at that time die also, because that's what happens in those lines of whatever, quantum realities. Like there's probably some echo of the fact that we're all sort of, some of us are going to die at the same time, but some of us may live. And also there's no guarantee that, like, just because I see timelines that are like this, that are, lockstep, or maybe just one or two things off, like the lines on my finger, they're just a little bit off. There's no reason to say that there's not like this, where I might reappear, in a quantum reality where I'm a kid again, where I just live this life again. But the future possibility is completely open to whatever I do. We could be in a never-ending cycle of existence, just like Buddhism says, or Hinduism. We could just be cycles of existence, and these cycles are us living the same life again and again. Choices we make. What do we learn? Maybe at some level, somehow, what we learn, what we encapsulate in our thought process, it goes. Every piece of data coming in from all these multiple quantum realities, it's going into a central place, and maybe at some point that intelligence has experienced enough, and it goes, hey, I'm wise, and I'm gonna end this existence and move on to nirvana. I don't know, but I will tell you that, like, every now and then, this glimpse I have of these other places, it leads me to believe there's something greater, something better, maybe. And so the only thing we can do, if we want to explore this, is to live the best life we can, help others, because I don't think actually, taking, gaining personal wealth, or whatever you want to call it, focusing on that, I don't think that actually, in my dreams, that doesn't seem to be the moving force behind happiness. If anything, I would say that happiness, personal happiness, it is a function of how we actually conduct ourselves in terms of helping those other people around us. And if, in fact, we are just reliving this quantum reality, that means everyone else is also, if they're real. And if they are real, we're all just woven threads, right, within a tapestry, then we have this opportunity to, like, change someone else's thread, and maybe that's the purpose we're here for. Maybe that's why we're here, is to help other threads, not necessarily ourselves, because our thread is going to continually sort of be woven through, and it's other people, they can influence us. And wouldn't that be cool from a game design standpoint? Like, you can live your thread however you want, but the only change you can really affect is on other people's threads, and the same vice versa. Only changes to your thread can happen from other people, influencing your thread. That means that we would be in an amazing universe, a simulation where our actions towards other people really matter, and our actions towards ourselves don't. And maybe that's the final thing that, like, monks and other people figure out. Maybe it's the point in their life they figure out, hey, you know what? My purpose in life isn't to make myself happy, but instead to try and better the threads of life of all the people I touch. If that's true, if we're all there and we believe and start acting that way, imagine how good the world will become. So I'm going to do my part. I'm going to start. I'm just going to try and make everything better for the people around me. And I hope you guys join me. Let's see how it goes. Let's post, amazing things. I think ultimately helping each other is the only thing we can do that will last. Because helping ourselves will die with us. But helping someone else, it will outlive you. And that's what I'm going to dedicate myself to. Hey, Mythborn, episode 32, Dreams Continued. I love talking to you guys. Please like, subscribe. I'm just going to point in general random directions because I'm not even sure where the stuff shows up. But please like, subscribe, and share. Share it. You can text. We started with Mythborn, Mythborn, to 66866. But we learned that when you type in Mythborn into your autocorrect, it autocorrects to 2 words, Mythborn. And that's not good. So we're going to change that, probably. Not changed yet. But in the meantime, you can join us, and I will announce what our new text to join the club is. But in the meantime, enjoy this video, enjoy us, and please subscribe, please share. And it helps us out. And I'm super excited, as always, to be part of the universe in which we all exist. Thanks, guys. See ya.